And for today's second race of the day, we have mrlink2k against DukeFireBird. Um, just pull up PBs real quick. So DukeFireBird has a Linux PB of 10807, making him the 10th seed for this tournament. And Link has a PB of 11010 and making him the 16th seed for this tournament. So should be an interesting race given the nature of this run. I mean, as you saw previously in the previous race, there was a little bit of RNG misfortune there, so
We're off to a start. Yeah, it's kind of difficult in that with this category specifically, it's not like I suppose many other things that people will see on speed gaming where you could expect within reason the runner with the higher seeding or faster PB to win all the time. Due to the sheer amount of RNG in this run, it doesn't always pan out like that. It's
yeah.
entirely possible, like, Duke is the higher ranked runner here, but things go right or I suppose wrong, depending on your perspective. You could honestly come out of Ruins like a full minute behind. It's possible. We'll just have to see.
So I'll quickly go over one of the major mechanics of this run, which is the mashing that you'll see the runners performing. So most of the runners will consistently perform a technique called piano mashing, which involves hitting a certain pattern of keys in a certain order. Those keys being the Z, X, Enter, and right shift keys, with the Z and Enter keys advancing the text boxes, and X and Shift advancing the text within said text boxes.
So Ruins starts off extremely elementary, very entry-level puzzles. There is a little bit of menuing to pay attention to, and as they're coming up to the first fight here, it's actually kind of critical that they get this kill. You do want to land as central a hit as possible, and even with a good hit, as you can see, Duke getting 20 damage there is RNG in the damage rolls in this game. You only get one turn to finish off that Frogget, and it is quite important that you get it for the purpose of speed, as it gives you your first level up. Although this game isn't really stat-bound in the way that traditional RPGs are, you do still want to advance in levels as quickly as possible to deal more damage.
Just noticed in chat, yeah. So until recently, there was actually a ban on music mods in the Undertale runs for the main categories, and obviously there was a community vote, and the vote was in favor of allowing music mods. So you'll see throughout the tournament that there'll be runners that have various different music packs in their setup. And yes, this is the Genocide ending, so this whole tournament's the Genocide tournament, basically.
So at this point, this is where the RNG is actually going to begin. The strategy here is that in this room and the next room, we can start getting random encounters. There's two possible encounters that you can get in these rooms, either Frogget, which we see Link has, and Whimsun, which DukeFireBird has. The Whimsun is the faster one to get since you can immediately kill it in one turn. So you want to get as many of those as possible. You don't really have control over it though. Specifically, it's actually not really in RNG's favor. It is a 66% chance to get a Frogget and a 33% chance to get a Whimsun.
Yep, and as you can see on Duke's screen, there is a frog skip attack. I believe it's a 60% chance to not get the skip and 40% chance to get the skip. So basically, you're more likely to get a non-skip Frogget than anything else, unless you get good RNG like the runners seem to be getting at the moment, and they're actually getting a lot more Whimsuns.
They are both getting a lot of Whimsuns. Yeah, this is kind of... wow. I kind of wish I was playing right now. But at the same time, it's impossible to call until the end of the grind. Ruins is kind of unique in each area, in that we do the grind in two halves in this area. Each main area of this game, Ruins, Snowdin, Waterfall, and Core, requires you to kill a certain number of enemies to progress through the Genocide route. For Ruins, we need to kill 20 enemies, but as they're grinding Whimsuns, ideally here, we're only going to be getting 12 kills in these two adjoining rooms, and then the runners will likely be moving on to the next room to get the 13th kill, before getting the last 7 kills in what we call the triple rock room, which has the potential to give you multiple enemies per encounter.
Yeah. So we see Duke still getting a really good RNG run here. I think he's only had the one Frogget so far.
Yeah, this is disgusting RNG so far. And we're seeing Link getting a frog skip right there. You can tell slightly ahead of time if you're going to get a frog skip. It's determined by the text that the frog says.
Yeah.
Like, there are certain text lines where you will get it, certain text lines where you definitely will not get it, and there's one that I believe is random.
Yeah, if you get a croak text box, it'll be random, but Ribbit is guaranteed, and I believe, the other 3 lines, which are Hop Hop, Meow, and I can't actually remember the third one if there is any.
Something else, yeah.
Yeah, and they all give you the non-skip option. So both runners going for their 12th kill now. Duke getting, I believe that's either the 10th or 11th Whimsun he's got so far.
Something else to mention quickly as well is that both runners are utilizing a technique known as wall humping. You can see that they're oscillating against the northern walls. This is done by simply holding up and down against a wall simultaneously. This doesn't really do anything other than keep the step counter progressing. The step counter is how you gain encounters in this game. It makes sense that, you know, the more you walk around, the more you'll get encounters. But by doing this, we're able to remain stationary, i.e. right next to a loading zone, and keep progressing the step counter. It just winds up being easier and faster overall. Oh, a bit of unfortunate routing there by Link falling down the crack panels.
Yeah. So both runners getting a really good first half time. I think Duke getting a 5 flat even, and Link falling down again, unfortunately. I think Link got a sub 510. So aside from falling down the puzzle, it would have been close, but unfortunately that's...
As I alluded to, though, this room that they're both in, this is the point where it actually matters. Duke has built up a very nice lead right now, but there is no guarantee that he's going to maintain that lead. We really just have to wait and see. The worst case scenario that can happen here is that single mold small enemies appear. Right now, Link's got a triple. You can get one of these per encounter, and one thing that we haven't really mentioned so far, well, there you go, Duke with the single. One thing we haven't really gone into detail in is that the encounter rate in this game is not static. You gain encounters quicker the fewer enemies you've killed, and conversely, the more enemies you kill, the slower you'll get encounters. So when you only have like 2 or 1 enemies left, you gain encounters very, very slowly. So to gain a single encounter with 2 left is a large time loss.
Yeah, so the only area we don't really worry about being at 1 kill before finishing is waterfall, because we'll get to that later. But usually the runners will try and be in a situation where they're at least 2 kills away from closing out their area. Just because if you get to, say with Ruins, you get to a single mold on 18 and you kill that, it takes a lot longer to get the last encounter from 19 to 20 than you would do just fleeing the mold and then grinding again.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry,
exactly. There's a single mold small and a triple. All right, so difficult to call. I have no problem like tracking my own kill count, but I'm not trying to mentally keep track of both of these guys' kill counts as they're progressing. That's a little too much mental math for me.
I think Duke is going to kill the second mold small here and then spare the third, because I believe he'd be at 18. Since he got the double frogger, then the single, then the triple. I think Link is currently at the same number, or maybe...
So being at 2 left is one of the ideal situations you want to be in for a last encounter. Either have 2 left and get a double, or have 3 left and get a triple. Both are good. So Link has what for Duke will be the best next encounter to get. You get the Whimsun, which you kill immediately, and then you can ideally... Okay, just taking the single. Really?
Yeah, I think Link might have been at 17.
Ah, that makes sense, yes.
So Duke with a sub 8 second half ruins, that's a really good pace, and that's probably going to be a low 10x ruins after you finish tutorial.
He is approximately tied with my PB right now, and my PB is a 106, so if the rest of the run is good, this can be a very good race result, but there is a lot between here and the end of the run.
Yep. Oh, and Link getting a single at 18, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, this is... Welcome to this category.
Welcome to Ruins RNG in a nutshell.
And here we're seeing on Duke's side, this is the 100% indicator that you have fulfilled the Genocide requirement. You start gaining encounters per room very quickly, but nobody came. This tells you that you are on the Genocide route.
Yes, it's essentially a reminder that you've exhausted the counter for that particular area. I think the only times you don't really see it come up is Snowden and Waterfall, simply because with those 2 areas we're running our last encounters right by the transition zone.
I'm not going to lie either. If I was in Link's situation just there getting a single at 18, I probably would have just taken the kill, simply for the fact that there's no guarantee that you're not going to get a single on the following encounters. Like, I know it's a bad situation to have only 1 left, but at least you are then guaranteed to finish the grind on the next encounter.
That's true.
But he's now making progress as well.
Yep.
So one thing that Duke has done just now is also skip picking up the pie. Everyone talks about the Sans fight at the end of the run being very difficult. One of the big benchmarks that a runner can really reach, I would say, is being able to consistently do the fight without any heals. If you do need an emergency heal in the fight, the two big items that you'll get throughout the run are the instant noodles in the lab and the pie in the room in home. The noodles are generally the preferable ones to get since they're faster to obtain, though. If you want to get the pie, it does require you to take at least a few extra seconds to grab it.
Yeah. Plus, as well, with I know for a fact Duke normally runs gun. I saw Link going for the pan skip before. If you do actually attempt to and successfully get the pan skip, you actually get the pan as well as the noodles at the same time. Basically, using overflow tech to essentially overflowing the chooser. It pushes it to the next item in that particular loot pool, from what I understand of it. And the next item in that area is the burnt pan, so you get the pan with the noodles if you do it correctly.
And Duke is dead tied with my PB right now. I've just looked it up. 106 pace. Here we go.
Let's just hope Let's just hope Waterfall and Core are kind to him.
It's important, yeah. Snowdin is a relatively non-volatile area. It's kind of difficult to describe. Snowdin is also kind of an anomalous area in which we don't really do what is known to potentially be the fastest route because it would just have far too much RNG present, which would be to, like Ruins, segment the route into two separate grinds. But it would rely on you getting too many coin flip encounters, and yeah, for the sake of the little time it would save, it's just not worth it.
Yeah, just because with the major routing in Snowdin, we grind at the end of it, and obviously there's only the two encounters you get in that area, which is the Ice Cap Jerry or Ice Cap Chilldrake Jerry.
Mm-hmm.
And since it's basically roughly a 50-50 chance, it's usually like there is some degree of optimization there. We usually say between 10 and 12 kills is optimal to get singles up to, and then when I say singles, meaning single kill with the ice cap, and then from around 12 kills you go for triples or doubles, which is killing the ice cap and the Chilldrake. But again, it's not too much of an issue. Like, I know in the race I had this morning, I think I only lost about 2 seconds to my Snowdin split compared to gold, compared to my PB, which was like almost gold. So it's not really too much of a concern, but obviously it's preferential to get more singles early on and then doubles later.
Mm.
The whole tournament's a Genocide tournament, so again, every race that's being run is all Geno.
So Duke's stopping off at the box here to also get the Tough Glove. This is a weapon upgrade. We skipped the toy knife in the ruins, but this is well worth picking up. It's considerably stronger, it's hardly out the way, and yeah, everything is appreciably easier than it would be with just the stick. Good cutscene.
Yep. So early game, well, Ruins aside, usually Snowdin's fairly consistent for both runners. So unless one just gets relatively unlucky with their grinding, there shouldn't really be too much of a difference. It's mainly Waterfall onwards that you'll see any real sort of time swap or time gains from one person to another. Simply because there's a lot that can happen.
Something that runners generally do have to get used to, though, especially in Snowdin, is that as far as the game is concerned for exhausting the kill count requirement, certain scripted encounters do not progress the kill counter. Such as the dog fight that Duke just had there, that does not count towards the 18 kills that he needs in the area.
Yeah, so Lesser Dog is the only member of the dog squad that actually counts towards the kill count in this area. Other than that, yeah, none of the other dogs count. So one thing you'll notice throughout sort of Snowdin area mainly is all the puzzles that we normally would have to do have already been done for us, or we just skip straight past them because our character just doesn't care. They've got more important things to worry about, I guess.
So Duke's now going to grind one encounter on this bridge before entering the mini-boss. That is something we can do. So this is the start of the random encounters we're going to see for the remainder of the area. And yeah, you do have to be a little careful on when you attack Ice Cap there to just make sure you get a one-hit kill, especially whilst Jerry is on the field, because it's an annoying passive attribute of Jerry that he actually lengthens the enemy attack animations. He does make those slower.
Yeah. Why is the character yellow? Good question.
And now, sparing Jerry, something I believe at least one spare was used in Ruins, but it's used very liberally here in Snowdin to avoid needing to fight Jerry, and it's something that a lot of people don't really know about the Genocide route, that you have to kill everything, but there are certain enemies that you can spare and not destroy the Genocide ending, namely any just random encounter mob that's not unique, such as Jerry in this instance. As long as you kill enough numbered enemies, you can spare and it will still let you get the Genocide ending, and it's simply much faster to not kill Jerry if we don't have to.
Yeah, I think so far in the 3 races we've had all Jerry kills, although one was an accidental kill because the runner miscounted. Other than that, so far, everyone else has had to kill Jerry to some degree, so hopefully we see a change of that today. Reason why we try not to kill Jerry, if we can avoid it, is because Jerry has an insanely high defense, and he takes about 6 or 7 turns to kill, roughly, with glove strats.
I want to say it's more than that. I think it seems closer to like 10 hits. I could be misremembering, though. Either way, you don't want to do it if you don't have to.
Yeah, if you can avoid it, or if you can get good RNG in the second half, usually you can avoid killing Jerry, and that saves a lot of time. But again, in the tournament so far, there's not really been a lot of that going around.
So for Greater Dog here, there is a potential small amount of time save that can be gotten through which attacks he chooses to use. One of his attacks has an animation that the runners can run into to end it early. It is entirely random though, and it's not reliable. And when I mentioned before about a potential reroute for the area if you want to deal with horrible RNG, this fight is one of the ones that can potentially benefit from it. In that you can see here that he's just about getting a 3-hit kill on Greater Dog. If the character is level 8 by this point, this is a 2-hit kill with good damage rolls.
Yeah.
Way too much hassle to try and deal with that.
Yeah, I think it's just easier to grind at the end rather than before Greater Dog, just because of how encounters tend to come up. Because I think really the only area you can grind before Greater Dog is actually in the dog marriage room, correct?
You can just keep grinding in the room where you encounter Snowdrake, so just before you battle, well not battle, but you know, find Sands of Papyrus.
Yeah.
But it's a 50-50 to get Ice Cap or Childrake, and Childrake is a 2-hit kill, so it's not worth it on average.
Yeah. So you're going to see Duke transitioning out and back into the room. The reason we do that is Sans basically blocks us from getting encounters until the room. So if we tried to actually grind while Sans was still there, we would not be getting any encounters. We'd be wasting time.
There's something the runners are going to need to take a little bit of care here for as well, with all the menuing that goes on this fight, is to not get menu glitched. The game can be weird about when it's polling certain inputs, and once the runner has, say, already made the menuing choice to attack Childrake and has already launched the attack, it is possible to use the direction keys to menu in the previous menu and reselect Jerry, which then if you just immediately input as soon as your turn starts, you can end up attacking Jerry accidentally.
Yep. So both runners starting their grinds now. I believe Duke's at 7 kills and Link is at 5. Again, agreeing with Draco's sentiment before. I'm trying to keep a track on kills, but it's just something I'm not really used to. So I'll try, but don't expect accurate results from me, sorry.
Yeah, I'm going to trust that the players know what they're doing with the tactical decisions they're making.
Yeah. I think Duke might have had a miss menu, or might have had the menu glitch happen, because they did spare one turn, or they did attack, but the attack missed, so I think they might have been on Jerry.
Possible, yeah.
Yeah, actually, that's not a bad idea. I mean, I think for future races that I'm doing commentary on, I might actually have my counter up on live splits or something, or that I have some sort of counter on me, just so I can keep tabs, because otherwise it just gets too confusing to keep track of.
Yeah, so it seems to me from this end that Duke's been getting a lot of triple fights, and as you mentioned before, at the first half of the grind, I'd say it's probably preferable to get only Ice Cap and Jerry, since then the enemies don't get any lengthened turns. Even though you're getting fewer kills per encounter, the encounter rate is high enough early in the grind that it's overall faster to simply have to deal with Ice Cap.
Yeah.
Can loosely use the music as well to determine how far along in the grind Duke is, at least. I mean, we can hear Duke's audio, but since the encounter rate drops off, the more kills there are, we can generally tell how many kills are remaining.
Yeah.
The music here, this sounds like 3 left, so I'm going to make a prediction here. I think he's going to finish off this encounter. Based on the music, I think he's at 3 left, and I think it only makes sense to take this encounter fully.
Yeah.
Telling you, 10 quid, he's going to attack Jerry.
I see Duke groaning in chat, so I'm assuming he has to kill Jerry at this point, or something else has happened.
Yeah, possibly. But, I mean, at 3 left, it's not necessarily a bad thing, like I say.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think this is a bad thing. This is better than getting an extra encounter, I think.
Yeah, I mean, getting a triple at 13 is better than getting a double at 13 and then getting another double.
I'm counting the number of hits here on Jerry as well.
Okay.
That's the 5th.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is going to be 9 hits, it looks like. 6. Yeah, you do also get damage rolls here, like 9 or 10 with a central hit. That's 7.
Yeah.
8. Yeah, so
Yeah,
9 hits.
nine.
Maybe it can be 8 hits with perfect 10s, I'm not sure.
Mm,
Like, I don't know if Jerry has 80 HP or not. But, either way, we're done.
Yep.
Ah, no text storage, no wrong warp, not one of the only glitches that you can do in this category. It barely saves any time, if any time at all.
it
Don't worry
saves
about
maybe
it.
a few frames. That's
It's
it. It probably
very
saves
silly.
a couple of frames. So, fun fact, even though Genocide doesn't have any major glitches in it, it's technically not a glitchless run because there are 2 glitches that you can do. Obviously, the first one being the Igloo Overflow. What's the condition for having to kill Jerry? Basically being at a specific encounter where killing Jerry would put you at the required number of kills for this area. So as you saw with Duke's screen before, he would have been at 13 kills going into the last encounter, getting a triple kill. So he'd have to kill Jerry there to clear the area and not have to worry about grinding again at 15.
And as you can see, Pyrus is a really hard fight.
Yeah.
So Waterfall. All right, I'm gonna need to trust you here because I stumbled across Frame Saver at AGDQ. I showed him it. I told him about it. We were like, "Oh yeah, that's great." I'm gonna be mad if he doesn't go for this here.
Oh.
I'm gonna be real mad if he doesn't go for this here.
Okay. Well, now I'm interested.
I'm waiting for it. I'm gonna have words with this guy if he doesn't do this. Terrible, terrible. He was, he did it and then he didn't do it. You scroll the screen up so that it spends less frames scrolling down and then back up when you discover Undyne, dude. I told you this. It saves like a few frames. There's no reason to not do that.
So you essentially enter the grass a bit higher than normal then?
Yeah, just scroll the camera up slightly and then when it moves, when it does the camera shift there, it has to spend less time moving.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah. It'll make, that's world record. It's a frame save. Guaranteed.
Yep. So of course no papyrus means we get a shorter cutscene here, but we still have to deal with the cutscene and Monster Kid. And one of many face plants we will see throughout the waterfall area with Monster Kid.
So encounters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Waterfall's weird. It's a weird area. There's stronger enemies. We can't reliably kill stuff in one hit. Certain stuff is preferable to avoid, such as that Aaron just there. But apparently not this Washua. Like, I don't know. I've been avoiding the Washua. Duke is choosing to avoid it, but I've been hearing a lot of talk about how the meta is to take that Washua because it's faster. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I mean, for the longest time, I used to kill the first Aaron because I thought it was the same between that or the Washua, but obviously being proven wrong about it and finding out the Washua is actually faster. The reason why some runners tend to kill the Washua is there's two encounters you get coming up in the room you require, in the area where you require the next weapon, the ballet shoes. If you get the optimal encounter that you can get, which is getting the first scripted double mold and then getting a second double mold, it actually sets you up in the second half grind to where you would actually potentially save an encounter if you killed the Aaron that came up. Otherwise, if not, it puts you in an odd number, which can also be advantageous if you get a Temi at the right time.
Oh yes. Can also be very disadvantageous if you get a Temi at the wrong time.
Yes.
As with the spear chasing section there that Duke just did, and which Link's going to be coming up on in a little bit, Duke had to backtrack slightly there to avoid a collision, which is kind of unfortunate. There is actually quite a bit of technique in avoiding the spears, and it works a little differently to how you'd really expect. The character's hitbox doesn't correspond exactly to where the model actually is. For some reason, it seems to be like slightly displaced downwards. In other words, the top of the head doesn't have a hitbox, but there is a hitbox that extends out slightly below where the feet are, if that makes sense. So with these spears, if you're going to misdirect them in one direction, you want to try and send them higher and have them just skim your head. Because if they skim by your feet, then you're likely going to take a hit from them.
Yeah. I mean, this game is a very well-programmed game. So Duke's going for the first scripted encounter now before getting the shoes, because with Mold Small here, we can actually still one hit them with the glove.
A yellow hit is generally strong enough to reliably one-shot these.
Yeah. You could get them sort of around the yellow bar. Yeah.
Now getting strong hits with the weapons is considerably more difficult. Each weapon does have its own like specific mechanic. From the ballet shoes onwards, this is all about hit timing. There's going to be multiple cursors to hit as close to the center of the screen as possible. The closer it is to perfect, the more damage it does.
Ooh, Duke getting a single Washua there. Not the worst encounter. I think that's actually the second most favorable encounter to get in that situation after the double mold.
Yeah, it's double mold, single Washua and Aaron, and then single Aaron.
Yeah. I mean, if I was in that situation and I got a single Aaron, I'd probably flee it, but then it depends on the runner's preference as well. So that means that going into the second half, after the Glad Dummy and Temi encounters, that would put Duke at 7 kills, I believe. Oh no, he fled the Washua, so that would put him at 6.
Yeah, so it might be a little weird to work out, but either way. Generally, Waterfall ends up being a relatively short grind, and it's the only one where, kind of as alluded to before, you actually, if possible, want to leave yourself with one remaining, because the final room that we progress through that can give encounters is so long that it actually doesn't lose time to have only one encounter remaining. And then if you manage to get a Temi, that's super fast. That's really good to get that.
So it looks like Link got the double mold twice.
Yep. So this is going to put their encounters very differently.
Yep. So I don't recall. Did Link go for the Washua?
He did, yes. So he took the Washua, he took double mold, and he's taken another double mold. So he's got 5 kills so far. So he's going to have 6 after Glad Dummy, putting him at 11 left. So he'll get a guaranteed Temi, and then he'll have 10 left on the, well, I say random segment, but there is at least one scripted encounter after that as well.
Well, if he's at 5 kills now, or 6 with the Sharon, that'll put him at 8 after the Temi, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, I forgot about Sharon, yeah.
So
Even though we just saw it from DukeFireBird.
So that'll put him at 10 left, and then obviously the first 3 encounters after Temi are all scripted.
Mm.
So essentially, it's going to be 4 unscripted kills for Link to 6 unscripted kills for DukeFireBird. So should be interesting, and obviously with the lead Duke has at the moment, maybe getting that extra encounter won't be so harmful. Hard to say at this point, really, depending on what comes up.
So we've got the second spear chase section here, and as there is some misdirection possible in the first spear chase, there's even more possible in this one. For this chase section, the game actively reads your inputs, and it tries to place the spears in the direction that you're currently traveling. So if you're holding down left, such as where Duke was right there, he's currently holding down left there to make them spawn in that direction, but it gives you some very safe spots to exploit. You can see he's just diving down a little, and then simply on the frame that the spears are generated, it tries to lead his direction. Some weird spawn spots, though. Right out of bounds.
Completely off the bridge. At this point, it's safe to ask, is Undyne even trying?
I mean, if you just waste a lot of time there and stay on the wide open area, then she starts trying harder and harder. That's actually pretty fun to try, like in normal gameplay, just letting the spear volleys speed up more and more and more and seeing how long you can cope with it, because it gets incredibly difficult to survive after a while.
So, Duke's about to start the second half. I say second half here, even though you've technically got the Glad Dummy Temi encounters, but then again, given the fact that we're in the second part of Waterfall, I guess it's easier to call it that. So we're going to see...
It's an unfortunate hit.
Link just took a hit there, unfortunately. And it looks like Duke got the floating on water glitch.
Oh yeah, Jesus Frisk. Not bad. Not
Walking
bad,
on
not
board,
bad.
boys. So it doesn't save any time, it just looks cool, just a little bit of extra swag. So, fun fact, this boss coming up here, there's actually no viable way to skip it at the moment, because the 1 frame window we have that we can wall clip is actually blocked off by some garbage, so it's actually impossible to skip Mad Dummy at all in the any percent and True Pacifist runs. So we take it out on him here in the Geno run by just hitting him with the shoes.
It's important to not pet him too quickly, or with this Temi either. If you mash super optimally, you can do under 5 damage, and those enemies both have 5 HP, so you can make those a 2-turn fight.
Oh, trust me, I've done that. I actually did that the other day, which was kind of embarrassing. I think I got 3 damage on the dummy. Not fun.
Yeah, I just try and make sure that my first hit is at least a red hit. You literally just need to stagger your inputs by a few frames and you'll reliably get the kill.
Yeah. So the Washua Aaron here, which is also scripted, we'll see if Duke decides to go for the Aaron or not.
So the real shame here with Aaron is that even with a perfect hit, which Duke almost got there, and even after the attack boost from level 10, you still can't one-shot Aaron with the ballet shoes. It's close, but you can never one-hit kill Aaron in this grind. It sucks.
Yeah, I think it's the only enemy where, with the weapon that you have in that particular area, obviously with Pan and Core, I think it's the only enemy with the weapon relative to that area that you can only 2-shot, I think. Given
well, Childrake and Snowdin's are always a 2-hit with Tough Glove as well.
Right, yeah. Whoops.
I mean, if it wasn't, then it would be a very easy section to do. As you say, we would do the 2 grind strat at the start of the area because it would just be faster. But unfortunately. So now that Mold Big is introduced to the enemy pool as well, these are relatively simple enemies, but you still do need to get fairly accurate shots on these. You need 70 damage to one-shot these, and as we just saw with Mr. Link, that was a 2-hit fight. You do need a surprisingly accurate hit to do at least 70 damage there.
Yeah. I think you need 2 crits minimum, or thereabouts. Oh, is he
I think you can get just 1 critical hit, but you the others cannot be too far off because the damage does like gradually scale downwards the more inaccurate the hit is, and it's most important with the upcoming boss fight, which I'm sure a lot of people are aware of, Undyne the Undying. Hit accuracy is paramount in this fight.
I'm gonna presume at this point that Duke is either at 17 or thereabouts. Because I know they did get a Temmie and he's grinding again, so...
Ooh, I don't know. I'd grind down at the loading zone, dude, just in case.
Yeah. Oh, seems like he took our advice.
I'm always right.
With the rooms that both runners are in now, it's actually... You can just walk through those rooms normally and you'll just get the encounter come up normally because of the distance taken and the step counter. Looks like Duke got another Temmie, so that might put him at 18. Okay.
Alright, well, he's carrying on, so there we go.
Yep.
He is donezo.
Yep.
And Link entering the last room, we're going to have to see what he gets. Again, I'm not entirely sure what his kill count is at, but best case scenario, all he's going to need is a single Temmie to make a little bit of time save over Duke. He could certainly do with it right now, since it's difficult to make any time save materialize on Undie the Undying. It requires you to get the quick kill, and it requires the other player to make a mistake and avoid the quick kill, and even then it's only a time variance of around 15 seconds.
Yeah. So it looks like Link was 2 kills away, so he's killing the area here, and that should be that. And yeah, as Draco mentioned with the Undying quick kill, so with that, obviously, the way I understand it is you want to be getting a minimum of 30 frame perfect hits out of a possible 42 upon getting quick kill. Anything more than that does help, but usually you want a minimum of 30, and then just having good damage rolls with the rest of your hits. And usually that'll get you a quick kill most of the time.
As far as the numbers go, like, I've worked this out because I have too much time on my hands previously. Undying specifically has 23,000 HP. And in order to get the quick kill, you need to beat her within 14 turns. The 15th turn is a very slow attack. So you need to deal an average of at least 1,643 damage per hit to get the quick kill. So as long as Duke and Link stay above those numbers on average, they are on pace for the quick kill. But all it can take is a couple of missed hits to either make it very difficult, or in some cases not really possible. We're going to just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I think if I remember rightly, a triple crit with the shoes at this level is 1743. I could be wrong.
It's very slight. It's around 1750. Yeah, it's like 1750 on average.
Yeah, it's around that. So as you saw with Duke getting a triple crit to start with, so it does look promising.
Decent start, yeah. He is on pace. So there's like a miss. So as long as he doesn't get any misses that are very far afield or not too many individual misses, like, this is still on pace as long as he pulls this sort of average. It's worth noting as well that with the ballet shoes, unlike the pan and the gun that we'll see in the later areas, a critical hit with the ballet shoes is a 2-frame window, so it's slightly more forgiving than the endgame weapons. You do have a 15th of a second to get each of these critical strikes.
I guess looking at it in terms of getting a certain number of crits per turn, if you're doing 14 turn strats, you want to get an average of 2 crits per turn with at least 2 turns having a perfect on average. But then it also depends on the other damage rolls as well with the non-crits.
Okay. Duke in good shape. Link's had a not too bad start as well. Now, it's generally no doubt that at high-level Genocide play like this, that the runner is going to successfully beat Undying the Undying. That's just taken as a given, that most of the time they're probably even going to get away with a no-hit fight. But as we say, the quality of the hits is what really matters. So consequently as well, to run this at a really high level and even stand a chance of getting the quick kill, you need to be able to reliably do this fight without taking damage, because if you ever take a turn out to heal, you're really not going to have a fast time in this fight.
Yeah. Oh, see Duke taking a hit there, unfortunately. 2 hits.
I used to use my strats. Wouldn't take hits if you used my strat. I say my strat, it was discovered by someone else, but they don't run the game anymore. I mean, let's be real, I don't run the game anymore, but here we are.
I mean, same.
Like, I'm playing on Saturday, but I don't run the game anymore.
Looks like Duke may be maybe a few good hits away from getting the quick kill.
He's definitely on pace for it, yeah. Oh, guaranteed, dude. This is great.
This is going to be quick kill.
He's going to need to really make a mistake on this last hit to jinx this. Or maybe I just jinxed it. We'll see.
Commentator's curse incoming.
I didn't say anything.
I think it was literally a pixel away. It's like literally if that damage.
I'm surprised that didn't kill. Like I don't know how that. Look, that's not my fault. That's not my fault.
Looks like you're getting called out in chat. To be fair, we both did it, so I mean, it's just one of those things though. It's just a freak. It was just a freak roll on the last damage hit before the quick kill turn.
Yeah, it's easier than you'd think. In that position, knowing that one more good hit will get you the quick kill, it's easier than you'd think to choke it. I've done it multiple times.
Yeah. As you can see, contender for one of the longest death cutscenes in the game, alongside Muffet.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I think all the major bosses have really long post-fight cutscenes, but I think Undyne and Muffet's are usually the longest. Nope.
Metaton's isn't too long. Metaton just explodes and there you go.
Yeah. So Link took a little bit of damage on that last turn, but he made it through and got the normal kill as well. So again, both runners still on similar paces to what they were going into Waterfall. Again, I know Duke does not run pan, so he won't be going for the skip, but I believe Link might go for the pan skip, which we'll explain in more detail when it comes up, I guess.
But the big question is he going to get the noodles?
Who, Duke?
Mm-hmm. Ah, the coward's way out.
I mean, it's a good backup straight if you have to heal him Sans. I mean...
Look, all I'm saying is, in my games, I'm going to be going no heal, no save into Sans, and I'm going to throw games to it, I swear. I'm going to throw my games to dying to Sans without a save.
I mean... I wasn't expecting in the last race I did to take so much damage from the blasters. I think I just went in a bit too close trying to sort of get my bearings, and it's just like, oh, I'm about to die. Please no.
It's surprising, yeah. I mean, you do have to remember that you can afford 100 frames of total contact with his attacks. That's not a lot of time across the whole fight.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Considering this game runs at 30 FPS, that's probably about like 3.5 seconds or something like that. Around 3.3 seconds.
And it adds the karma damage on top of that as well. Like, you know, it's tricky.
Oh, Link got the pan skip. So what we do there is we interact with the dog food bag at the same time as we enter the cutscene. And doing so allows us to actually overflow the dog food bag and basically work the same way that a punch card overflow would. In that, oh, he didn't get the pan.
He definitely got it. I saw it in his menu that he equipped it.
Unless he mashed away too early on the yes option, because normally with the pan skip, you actually move the chooser to no. He got pan? Yeah, he got the skip, I know that, but I don't think he got the pan in the inventory.
I certainly hope he did. We'll see.
Oh, he equipped it immediately? Oh, that's why. There might have been a bit of lag on the commentary stream. That's why it didn't come up showing that he had the pan.
Technically, this is a no punch card run by virtue of the fact that, that's the fun. By virtue of the fact that you can't actually obtain the punch card in the Genocide route. The NPCs don't exist in the Genocide route, so we can't obtain it.
He ran away, basically.
Now, if we could, this run would be considerably shorter, because one of the weird ways that Genocide works is that the run relies entirely on whether the Genocide flag is active. Either Genocide mode is activated or it's unactivated. And once you finish the core grind and get through Metaton, it is hard set forever. Like, Genocide mode is simply locked in. In other words, you don't actually need to kill Sans to maintain the Genocide mode. So if we were able to skip the Sans fight, it would cut about 10 minutes off the run.
Yeah. So coming up, we get to see the one of the few bosses that we don't actually get to see all that often, because we skip straight past them in majority of the main categories. We have Muffet coming up, even if only for a little bit, because...
Oh, don't struggle, Duke. That makes that slower. That wastes time, dude.
Yep.
Nice perfect, though. Right when he didn't need it.
So we're going to hear a little bit of Spider Dance, but unfortunately, we now get this extended death cutscene with our little Spooder friend.
I'm absolutely not going to argue either that, if we could skip Sans, this would probably be a terrible speedrun, but at the same time, it would be a free world record for whoever discovered it. Like, if you find it, then get the free general world record. Trust me.
I mean, to be fair, I think I agree with that. Like, it wouldn't really be I wouldn't say it would be a bad speed run, but it just wouldn't be as popular if we could skip Sands, because I think between the Sands and Undying fights, that's actually what makes the run for me, is obviously doing those two fights rather than in any percent where the bosses aren't really as difficult, apart from like probably Undyne and Asgore.
Mhm.
Although Undyne you don't really fight, you just take damage and flee.
So this is kind of strange that, like, so me and Duke both do get the gun, but his route is still a bit different to mine here, because I actually get the MT gun and the cowboy hat. I equip the cowboy hat for the attack boost, because I figure it probably makes some damage rolls and ranges a little more favorable.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. But we're going to see how he does. So, Hotland and Court, that's really unfortunate. Astigmatism has 120 HP, so that was literally 1 HP remaining. But for the purpose of the kill count here, Hotland and Core are jointly treated as the same area. So throughout Hotland and Core, you need 40 kills. By virtue of going through Hotland, you get 5 kills, so the way that I measure this is that once you reach Core, you need 35 more kills. And the first 9 of these are always going to be scripted.
Mm-hmm. I'd just like to point out, if Duke had taken the hat, maybe that would have worked better.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. That hit on Astigmatism probably would have dealt enough damage had he been wearing the cowboy hat.
So we noticed Duke isn't actually changing in and out of the room again with this run. Oh, nice
quad.
Normally it's actually a bit faster to transition in and out of the room up to, I think, 23 kills. After 23 it doesn't really matter, and that's where you usually see runners move over to the left hand side.
It's difficult to determine in Core simply because of the way that the random modifier works and that it doesn't reset the step count in the same way.
Yeah. Looks like Link's having a bit of lag on their end, otherwise everything seems to be going according to plan for both runners at the moment.
Now, Duke's hit accuracy so far is pretty good, but what really matters in this fight is the encounter that he's got just now, and although he just got a pretty good hit there, for Night Knight and Magic, sadly, it's not really enough to get anything but a perfect hit. These guys are incredibly bulky, and if you don't get a quad crit, you will not one-shot these guys, which is really unfortunate. And this is the end of the scripted segment of the area, so from here he can just get any encounter that exists in the encounter pool. That does include additional Night Knight and Magic encounters, though. In a worst case scenario, you can get them as single encounters, which is just awful. I mean, if you quad them, you still one-shot them, but it's still only one enemy per encounter, which is really unlucky in this area.
Yeah.
I really am a jinx, but he did get a quad, so...
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so if he quads this again, this is actually a regular encounter.
Yeah. So...
Oh, my boy! Going in! Let's go!
Nice. Double gun quad, let's go. That's where I guess you could say a slight advantage with the pan over the gun is because the pan's actual attack pattern is a bit slower across the screen. It's easier to get pan quads than gun quads, but obviously with the gun quad you get more damage out of it compared to the pan, so I mean in either scenario getting a quad crit on Night Knight Magics is the same as getting a normal encounter.
I mean, I don't really know about saying whether it's easier or not. I think it's a little bit of runner preference and just how used to each pattern you are, because I use the gun because I do find it easier to aim than the pan simply because it moves faster. I'm just more used to it. I find it just easier to react to the attack speed.
Yeah, I get you. I mean, I guess it's a big choice down to runner's preference whether they want to run pan or gun. I mean, like,
Nice triple.
I was hitting quads that I know I shouldn't normally hit in my race today, but it happens. I guess it's just one of those things. Yeah, so we see a triple here, which is... I don't know the exact numbers, and I could be wrong, but I believe a triple crit has a 12% chance. Because there's 7 different encounter types you can get in the core grind. And if I remember correctly, I think any double is a 19% chance.
It's an 18% chance for each double.
Ah, okay, 18%. Yeah. And then 12 for a triple, and then 6 for a single Night Knight or a single Magic, I believe.
Right, yeah.
No, it should be 19, shouldn't it? Because 6 and 12 is 24 off 100, so 76.
I'm looking at the document right now, and it says 18% for each double.
Okay.
That's what it says, at least.
I mean,
maybe the math's wrong.
It's fairly similar though. It's about the same regardless. Obviously, Duke getting the unfortunate single magic there. That's
Yep.
gonna lose him a little bit of time.
The quads that he managed to pull off on the Night Magic, though, that's definitely putting in some work right now. Being able to save any additional turns is good, but being able to save 2 turns in one fight is a very appreciable time save.
Definitely.
Now, you wouldn't really expect the runners to avoid a one-hit kill on Final Frogget or Whims a lot, but as we saw at the very start, it is possible to miss the one hit on Astigmatism if your accuracy is a little iffy. Although after the level up from getting a few encounters here, it does make it generally a bit more forgiving. It's close. Link getting his own quad though, when he didn't need it, ironically, on Final Frogget. I always kind of hate it when that happens, where you get the quads that don't matter, but you miss the ones that do matter.
I think the ones that annoy me the most is getting these second turn quads on the Night Magics.
Oh yeah, that can, yeah.
It's like, why did that not happen last turn? I don't need it now. Yeah,
it's one of those weird situations where, like, when you think about it, a 1-frame mistake can translate to a several-second time loss, simply because of what that entails.
So it looks like Duke's getting a little bit of a bad run of RNG here, getting a Night Magic. One single magic, I should say. Although he is moving over to the left side of the room, so I think that means he's at 23 now or thereabouts.
Yeah, the strategy here is for the runners to leave themselves with 7 kills remaining, because a couple of rooms to the northwest there is a room with 3 scripted encounters that are very quick to get and gives them an extra 7 kills. So we want to exhaust the kill counter as much as possible and then just take the scripted kills. Even though it does include another Night Magic fight, but at that point, getting quick encounters is vastly preferable.
Yeah, so the reason why we go for the what's called the Warrior's Path encounters last is because they're all scripted. Rather than getting them first and then having to grind longer at the end of the core grind, it's easier to grind up to the required number of kills, less 7, and then going up to the Warrior's Path afterwards and getting those 7 kills. Since those are all scripted, it doesn't lose you as much time.
Link's actually getting his own share of quads right now. Like, you missed an important one on Magic, but that was a 3-turn fight. 2 of them were quads. That's not bad.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like Link is going up to Warrior's Path now.
Wow, has he actually pulled ahead?
Did he actually retake the lead? It'd be interesting to see. Oh, Duke not too far behind. Oh, sorry, one more encounter.
I can't imagine that this is right. Can this really be right?
Unless we missed something somewhere, it seems to be. Unless...
I mean, he did get the time save from early pan, but it's not going to be that much time save. A single? I hope that he only needs 1. Oh, wow. I really hope he doesn't still need 2.
It'd be a bit of a pain if he did, unfortunately.
Okay, he's carrying on.
Yep, looks like...
Link's in a... Actually, this isn't a very safe situation, though. 15 HP left. The last fight is going to be at least 2 enemy turns, so... Okay, he's taking a safety heal. I would probably agree with that, given the circumstances.
Yeah. So... Actually, no, there's almost a quad there. I was about to say that there's a way that Duke could have caught up if he got the 2 quad crits here, but even then he's still basically a full encounter behind. So I guess it's going to come down really to the Sands fight and how well both runners do there, and hopefully no one having any issues.
Alright, so Link is going to be entering first, it seems. Oh, no, he is! What? He is grinding for another encounter.
He went for Warrior's Path before maxing out, okay. So instead of going up at 33, he probably went up...
Yeah, I knew that didn't seem right. I wonder when he realized that that wasn't the kill count that he needed then.
I'm guessing it was a miscount, because I don't think he would have gone up willingly before Warrior's Path, knowing that he was short. So I think it's a miscount here.
Yeah, the real shame is that, like, as you mentioned, that effectively nullifies the strategy behind leaving Warrior Path for last, in that we don't have to put up with the longer encounter rate.
I'm assuming here that if Link does get out of this encounter quickly enough, looks like he still has the lead.
By a little bit. Yeah, he has a few second lead now. This is weird. And did he re-equip the ballet shoes? I didn't see whether he did. I didn't see whether Duke did, for that matter. This is typically
Duke
one of the
did.
things that runners want to do, that once the grind is finished with, we actually re-equip the ballet shoes. Everything else in the run from this point onwards, like, there's no real combat. And the ballet shoes simply have a slightly shorter attack animation, so it saves a decent amount of time, actually, to re-equip the ballet shoes at this point. Okay.
Oh.
Duke has them. So this is a weird situation. Like, Link having this lead, and Duke being around about... I'm going to see exactly what this is. Okay, 55 on 9 entering there. 55, yeah. The thing is, if all else is equal, assuming these guys play identically from this point onwards, Duke is going to finish first by virtue of having the ballet shoes equipped. This is weird.
That's assuming that Link doesn't equip them, though.
Yeah. Like I say, assuming all else is equal from this point onwards, this is, wow, I've never seen anything like this.
Oh, looks like we've got a bit of a crop on Link's screen there coming up. There we go, that's been fixed. So, it's going to come down to a few things. It's going to come down to the mashing at full scale. It's going to come down to how well the runners perform in the Sands fight, and obviously whether or not Link does equip the shoes again.
Mm-hmm.
Because if all of those factors play out the same for both runners and nothing else changes, then I believe, Duke will actually take it.
Now, the text mashing here on Flowey is weird, though. This is one of the weirdest sections of the game for text mashing, where the engine kind of works a bit differently, and a lot of runners will... Oh, okay, there goes the ballet shoes. A lot of runners will kind of just opt to randomly mash the keys as fast as they can here, because the text... Like, the input overlapping works a bit differently here, as I understand it.
Yeah. You can normally do random mashing here instead of doing the piano, because for whatever reason, piano mashing doesn't work. So there's still only a few seconds, and it looks like Link did put the shoes on, so...
He did, yeah. It took him a couple of seconds, but he got them on. He still does need a heal, though. Like, okay, they both need a heal. They're both at around 41, 42 HP. There's no way that they're going to enter Sands without a heal.
Yeah.
This is why I'm going to do it without a heal, because, well, I don't know, maybe not without a heal, but without a save.
Yeah.
I'll just take no hits in core, then I can do it without a heal. Then it's time save. I'm telling you, it's all about saving the seconds.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I chose to not heal when I had 60-odd HP in the first, because I felt comfortable enough going into the second half with 60 HP, rather than if I was at, say, 40 or 30, I would have healed, because I wouldn't have felt as confident.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this is too close for me. This is scary.
Oh. Honestly,
I can't take it.
Weird. I think this is actually a good thing to happen, because I mean, considering that this is a fairly RNG heavy category, the fact that we've got a race this close is actually a really good thing. Like,
oh yeah, it's entertaining for sure. It's just I'm like, I want to see some Monka S's in chat, please, if you can.
Yes.
As far as I know, the runners do not know where they are. I mean, they're entitled to have each other's streams up, I believe, but I don't think it's expected that they know where the other is.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the runners will either have their opponent's stream up, or they'll have the SpeedGaming stream up, and obviously muted, and go from there.
Oh, Duke, no! Come on, you need the smallest of time saves here to make the difference, because that is what is going to matter here.
Well, it depends on if the splits are the same as well, because I know one of the races didn't end up setting it up. It's going to come down to whether or not Link has to heal more than once. He does have healing.
Strong start.
I'm just waiting for Sands.
They both do have the shoes equipped now, yes.
Yep.
So there is a little bit of randomness in this fight, specifically in the second half of the fight. Sands can use a variety of random attacks, and some of them do have different attack lengths, but Yeah, we're just gonna have to wait and see. This is gonna largely just come down to who plays this fight better.
Yep.
Because it could be, you know, if Duke doesn't need to take a halfway point heal, that could make a difference as well. It's still too early to call. I can't believe I'm saying it, but it's still too early to call.
Oh, definitely. It's probably like 10 seconds or less between the two runners, so it's still anyone's game at this point. I mean, one wrong jump or one mistimed movement, and suddenly you may have to do emergency heal.
So the first phase of this fight is entirely scripted. The attack order is scripted. There is some RNG present in a couple of the attacks that he uses, but the order of the attacks that they come in, the runners are going to be entirely prepared for this. It's the second half of the fight that you need to worry about if you get caught off guard by seeing an unfamiliar attack pattern.
Yep. So both runners similar HP at the moment, so first half goes the same for both. We won't see any healing, but second
Yeah,
half
it's pretty solid.
Good dodging there from Duke.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed so far. Not so sure about that strategy for the attack on Link's screen though, but okay, you can afford that. This does bring into question whether he's going to take the halfway heal though, because I think a lot of runners would be a little uncomfortable at this stage with this much HP. Same deal with Duke. And yep, here we go, there's a halfway heal. So now, I don't know, if Duke knows that he's behind, like if he does know that he's behind, this puts him in an awkward situation where the only way that he can save time is to not heal. He's going for it, alright.
Okay. Interesting move. It's still... I still want to say that it's going to take Link either having to heal again or having something drastic happen. I don't want to jinx it, however.
Yeah, he's one turn behind.
Move is where you're dressed. Oh, Link actually down to about half health. He may... If Duke plays this out well enough and Link has to heal again, might.
And even though we have the menu bones here, like, you can avoid a lot of damage by just mashing, and again, the runners need all the time they can get right now. You just want to mash through the menus as quickly as possible here.
So, fun fact with the attacks that you just saw on both runners' screens, if you actually hold down all 4 arrow keys at once, assuming you have a keyboard that's capable of that, like Ghost or something like that, it actually allows you to just automatically go to any attack like that side.
I think Duke got a bit lucky there. I don't think he was in a good position to avoid that next laser blast.
Let's see what Link does after this turn, because I think it's going into the last attack, maybe?
He still has one more of the 4 directional attacks left. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's basically a free avoid, so...
Yeah. I think he's gonna...
He is taking the heal.
Oh, and he's taking more damage.
Duke just going for it. Alright, we are super squared up now.
We're basically at least 2...
This is good stuff.
Oh my goodness. Hopefully no one takes any real damage here. Oh.
Okay, as long as they watch their rhythm, this is fine. Oh, that's... Come on, Duke, you got this. There we go. Oh,
So...
that was so close.
I'm gonna say it's... I still can't call a winner because I feel like there's something else that...
Mashing. Text mashing.
Actually, no, there's no more mashing after this because this is all auto-scroll, this is all unskippable.
You can still... I mean, the text boxes are going to be done on certain frames and you can still accidentally, you know, mash on the wrong frames.
Also the Asgore ones, yeah, the Asgore text boxes, I forgot about that.
Even with the fixed progression text boxes, though, those can vary in length depending on when the inputs occur. I don't know, it's weird.
Oh,
Just gonna have to see.
this is intense. I
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, at this point, with the amount of remaining time save, which is almost nothing, this is still quite a large deficit for Duke to make up. You wouldn't think it, but it legitimately is.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's those 2 or 3 seconds that he's behind are going to feel like an eternity now, just
Mm-hmm.
with the minimal time save. Yeah, it's about 2 or 3 seconds apart.
Check. That is like a second of difference. Oh
Yeah.
wow.
Damn.
I'm done. I can't. I'm not doing it.
Hang on. Look at the positioning on Link's screen where he's got his little cursor compared to Duke. So when Sans goes to sleep, Duke's actually going to gain a little bit of time back there with the
Assuming he doesn't go early, because this is the one thing either of them could do to kill the run right now. Go too
Oh,
early before Sand falls asleep.
if that happens, I'm
Yeah, like if one of them does that, it is game over.
that is just going to be the grossest thing to happen to either runner if that does happen.
You've just got to wait for his animation to change a certain number of times. Wait until you see his eyes fully close.
Yep.
Don't jump the gun.
Oh.
I've already jinxed the run once with Undyne. Imagine if that had been like 1 frame better with Undyne. That would have been the lead that he needed right now. Like
Yeah.
this can be so silly sometimes.
Oh. I still think either way this has been one hell of a race just because of how close it is at the moment.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
This is not okay.
it's a race to move the box. Real gaming hours right now.
Oh my god, dude. Alright, so does one runner have 10 TBPS smashing and does the other have 8 TBPS smashing? Is Asgore going to make the difference? We're about to find out.
I think it's literally only a second between these two, so it's gonna come down to the Asgore text boxes.
It pretty much is. Yeah, this is ridiculous.
Holy GG, this is intense.
I can't even say anything right now.
If this ends in a tie, like if Duke saves enough time from mashing at Asgore, if this ends up in a tie, I will lose my shit.
Do we even have anything in place for the event of a tie?
I have no idea.
Duke, don't lose frames on the corners!
Come on, Duke, you got this. Make it a tie. I think this race has been too close to decide. Oh no, looks like
I'm not sure. I'm not sure that's going to be good enough at this point.
yeah.
There was, like I say, there was a little bit of movement time loss on the corners. So just whenever you're handling corners in this game, you just want to be moving against the corner as you reach it.
Would have been so
For
sick to
frame
have a
perfect
tie.
movement.
I think, to be honest, the tie would have been the best case scenario given how close it was at the end. Like, I just couldn't think of a better result at this point because it just seems unfair, really, to have a race this close and have someone unfortunately losing. It almost seems unfair, really. Like, considering the nature of the category, you don't really get too many races where it's within a second.
Mm. This is a picture perfect example at the same time as well, though. Like the time that you're going through the game and there's all of the seemingly inconsequential things happening, like the little corner cuts you can be doing, the menuing that can be slightly faster, it can potentially make the difference over the course of an entire run. You want to take all of the smallest optimizations you can afford.
Yep.
If you can do it, just do it.
Intense. This is intense.
I'm not going to do the voice. I know TGH used to do that. I'm not going to do that.
I'll give it a try, but it's probably not going to be too good. I'll wait until the next text box on Duke's end.
Alright, if you're going to try it, I'll try it after.
Failed. Hadn't it? Why was I brought back to life? You, with your guidance,
Alright, I guess I'll try it then as well.
I realized the purpose of my reincarnation.
Together, we eradicated the enemy and became strong.
Okay, yeah, that's way better than mine. I could not do it that good. I'm sorry.
Every time a number increases, that feeling.
Yeah, no. I'm not.
Oh man. Also, an interesting thing to note is depending on how quickly the input works to register for the final text box we erase or not erase. If it holds up for Link a little bit and Duke gets it fast.
Time. That's...
Oh.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's... What a result. Oh my wow.
Oh wow. So Link was the winner.
That is a win. Well, this is going to be an awkward interview.
Oh, definitely. Oh.
There we go, we've got one of them.
Yep,
We got two of them.
in the
They're in
standby.
setup, but are they going to get in here?
Oh man.
Oh boy.
So that was actually a PB by Link of, I believe, 22 seconds according to
Oh,
the
big
timer.
congratulations then. And race PB for Duke, apparently. That is second prize.
Yep.
Alright, so, yeah, what do you guys think of that result?
2 seconds! Ah!
I think Draco and I were both just trying collectively to keep ourselves together during the Sands fight. It's just like, this can't be any closer. This can't be any closer.
Hold on, wait. Actually, hold on. Draco, do I get to blame you because I saw something in the chat right when I missed the quick kill? Do I have you to blame?
I mean, maybe.
So it was you that cost me the race. Got it.
Look, this race is not what I signed up for, alright? This...
We'll talk at GDQ.
Do we have to?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Looks like that's what-
Hey, you're the one who didn't do the frame time saver on Undying, right? If the screen had spent less frames scrolling, that could have, you know, take the frames.
Oh, GG to both runners. That was by far an insanely close race, and even
Yeah.
I don't think any of us were expecting that result. Like in terms of the time distance between the two of you, like
God, yeah.
like according to what we've got on the commentary stream, it's about 3 seconds difference. But then I think your timer did stop a bit later after the final text box, Duke.
Yeah, what I noticed is my, I didn't realize I had this switched over. When I game on console, I have to switch my timer with a delay, and I didn't reset it, so it was 700 milliseconds off.
Oh.
But the times are stopped properly, so I can say that.
I mean,
So,
as for Link, double congratulations are in order, a win in the tournament and a PB at the same time. Congrats, dude.
I saw that, GG.
Yeah, I don't know how I PB'd with an 1154 runes, but I'll take it.
Easy. How many Magic Night Nights did you get? That's the answer. That's
I'm
why.
not sure.
Yeah,
We noticed that both of you guys were getting some important quads there in core, though, so GG's.
Yeah, I was happy
Yeah.
to get a Night Magic quad.
Also, I gotta ask this, Link. Did you have a little bit of a miscount going into Warrior's Path? Because I saw you going back to grind another encounter up.
Yeah, I noticed that.
I really don't know what happened there. I thought I was good on kills, but I wasn't.
The accidental miscount, it happens. I mean,
Oh
at
my
least
god.
it wasn't too much of a loss there.
Yeah, at least you didn't equip the boots immediately. That would have hurt.
Yeah. We were both saying that. We're saying, you know, if Link doesn't equip the shoes here, it could be Duke's game because the shoes having time over the pan and sands.
Yeah. Since we need all these little frame savers, then obviously I'm going to share a little secret with you guys, and of course, chat. I mean, this is probably common knowledge now, but just so you know, if you want to be super optimal, after you kill that last Night Magic, that's when you re-equip the shoes, because you can kill that triple encounter with ballet shoes if you get good hits.
Yeah.
It's like-
Really? Huh. I honestly did not know that.
I think you have to get a triple on the astigmatism though, don't you?
I don't know, but it's possible.
Oh, yeah, and Tommy says in chat, I agree with this. That first astigmatism, 1 HP.
Right at that point was when I was discussing that we actually have a slight route difference there, because at the shop where you get the empty gun, I also get the cowboy hat for the attack boost. So.
Oh, I don't get the hat because I want to be able to run from the final encounter if I don't get a perfect match. Which
That's true.
In that instance, I would have had a perfect chance, and then 1 magic, and I was like, well, that works. 33.
Yeah, its core is awful.
Because something we didn't actually mention during the run is equipping any armor piece on our character at all. Because starting off with the bandage, we actually get a guaranteed 100% flee rate from all encounters. If we equip anything else on top of that, we actually don't get a guaranteed flee rate. We get a 50% chance each time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually RNG based if you've got the hat on, if you do actually flee the encounter. So it's actually a good call from Duke there. Unfortunately, maybe having the hat in this case with that 1 astigmatism, but hey, that's the way it runs.
Yeah, but then you know what would have happened? I would have gotten a double on that final encounter before Warriors Path, and then I would have been stuck at 41
Could
kills.
have been a Night Magic. Could have been a Night Magic there. That would have been horrible.
But who knows?
Yeah, exactly. It's the way it goes sometimes. I mean, it's still a really close result, which, again, given it's the Genocide run, you don't really see a lot of those in race settings. It's usually 30 seconds or a minute or so between run-ins, but having a 2 to 3 second difference, it's like, wow.
Yeah, you guys put on a good show for us. Thank you guys very much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Any last thoughts from anyone before we, I guess, start to wrap things up? I don't know if there's anything coming up after this on SpeedGaming.
Nothing on my end. Good luck on the rest of the tournament, though.
Yeah, GG.
Yeah, Lord knows I'm gonna need it, Draco.
So,
Yes.
I'll just plug a few races coming up tomorrow. We do have a very busy schedule tomorrow afternoon. So at 4 PM EST, we have Silver against Blizzard Vapes. At 6 PM, we have Enha versus Radu. At 7 PM, one of 2 races happening. In the first race, we have Laurie against Yisk. And the second race happening at 7 PM, we have Samuel JH against Link. So all should be fairly interesting races to watch. And if today's anything to go by, definitely seen some real action and real close results. And yeah, I guess. Final thoughts or anything like that?
This
Nothing
game is
from here.
stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need a break after this. I need a break after this run because, yeah, I think I'm actually going bald from the stress.
Oh, you? What about me?
But yeah, GG to both runners and also GG to Link on the PB.
Yeah,
thanks
GG's,
for
man.
watching. And
Yep.
yeah, hopefully we'll see you tomorrow.
You'll get that 108 soon, man.
Yeah.
I feel it.
I just want a 105. Why is that so hard?
Because you don't play 105.
I mean,
Did I just go there? I'm sorry.
wow, the shade. To be fair, I just want a 105 as well, but I know that's not going to happen because I don't run this game enough.
Nah, I get to mess with Draco down on that a bit. So.
Okay, well, I'm going to dip for now. Draco, I don't know if you want me to do the final thing on the page or anything like that, but
There's
I'm
the
gonna
what
be
now?
doing it.
I don't know. I'm just
Like
I'm out of it. We did the thing and I'm out of it now.
Okay, well, again, thanks for watching and thank you SpeedGaming for having the tournament on your channels, and hopefully we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah. Thank you guys very much. We will see you later.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.